My background is, as a musician, really began when I was 4 years old. My parents are both composers. My mother is a teacher. My sister is a composer. Her daughter is a composer. Her husband is a professional musician with the Cleveland Orchestra. So I don't suppose I probably had much choice in the matter, in a sense. I mean, they'll tell you that I did, but I don't suppose that I really did.
Just going to be watching this at 3 and it's going to be faster and faster.
It was just something that happened. And actually, all of my grandparents at one point or another were teachers, either at the college level or at the K through 12 level. So teaching and music really were a big part of my background growing up. And I think you could almost say it was kind of almost genetic that I ended up being a music teacher. Hendrix students inspire me as a composer. Largely, I suppose I take advantage of the fact that I have a captive orchestra to work with, and every so often I get the opportunity to write for them. The students at Hendrix are particularly fun to work with because they are so varied and in their interests and their background. They're very bright, they're creative. The opportunities that Hendrix musicians have are many and varied, and they certainly include many of the same sorts of activities that they get at larger music schools and conservatories, but we also like to help students cultivate special programs that they're interested in involving internships, for example, doing arts management with the Arkansas Symphony, which we've done many, many times, doing various kinds of projects out in the community and so on and so forth. So we like to help students kind of find their own way in the Bachelor of Arts program with a concentration in music. And we've had students who've done programs with computer programming in music and mathematics in music, physics in music. We've seen quite a lot of different sort of integrative programs develop, largely because of the fact that we're not as isolated in a music department as we would be in a larger institution. Hendrix College Chamber Orchestra started in 1990. And so we started with 6 students, and it's grown considerably since then. It's about 5 times that big now. And we can do a lot of different kinds of repertoire, including inviting guest composers to compose for us, students, faculty composers, guest artists that have come in and been commissioned to write for us on occasion. Music and engaged learning are, I think, almost synonyms for one another. Music is very hands-on. If you're making music, you are learning as a hands-on experience. Whether you're composing music, whether you're conducting it, whether you're playing it, even listening. If you're going about it in an active way, is not a passive sort of undertaking at all. It's very engaged. And I think we have, as a music department, been extremely involved in the Odyssey project and probably generate as many Odyssey credits as any place else on campus, largely because of the fact that music is, by definition, engaged and hands-on. One of my very first years teaching at Hendrix, I had one of those aha moments that I'll never forget. I was working with a student who was actually a biology major and also a very fine flutist, and we were talking about a Beethoven sonata and how Beethoven very often uses a motif to unify a piece of music and how he develops that idea into a larger whole. And I remember my student Kelly got this sort of light bulb sort of moment when she said, "Oh, it's just like cells in biology." And I said, "Exactly." And I'll just never forget that because it was one of my first really, really fun teaching moments, one of those moments where you just sort of see the light go on in somebody's face, and I thought, that's what I'm doing this for.